Okay, so these are some interview questions here. First one is, how many microchips do you have under the skin? What can you do with them? Right now I have five, so one, two, three, four, and then five here. And essentially I can do a lot of different things. Most of them are just RFID, NFC, simple stuff. This one here is the VivoKey prototype. It does full cryptography. So all of these are just either, access control, getting in my house, car, starting the motorcycle, logging in the computer, that kind of thing. The VivoKey is, full crypto platform. So I do like OTP password generation and a lot of different kinds of cryptography type related things. Hopefully building different software applications for it so we can start interacting with more things out in the world in a much more secure and safer way. How did you have the idea of selling a microchip? So that was really, I put this one in 2005, and so that whole process was just kind of for me personally, but then information got out about it, and like blogs picked it up and Slashdot and Boing Boing, and so a lot of media came around it, but still it was more of kind of a novelty, something interesting that just I did. And the maker revolution started in 2008, 2009, really getting a lot of steam, and so people were interested in looking into RFID and implants. And so by about 2012, it became obvious that people were really, really interested, and there wasn't a lot of good information out there, and there was a lot of people doing unsafe things. So like getting just industrial tag, ramming it in their hand any old way. So I thought, well, I'm doing a lot of answering of emails and like trying to guide people to the right thing, and like I thought about writing a guide for, if you're going to try to do this, try to do the installation procedure this way. And so it became obvious that as I spending more and more time on it, it would be good to actually put a business model around it and be able to ensure that the things we sold were tested and produce a guide that a professional, a doctor or somebody could follow. But then quickly we realized after starting Dangerous Things that the best thing to do would be to partner with piercers, and so we built and are continuing to expand our partner network of professionals that includes both doctors and professional piercers. They work aseptically. They fully understand how needles and skin work, and they do a good job. So there's perfect partnership in that way. Third question: does microchip send out radio frequency, or can it be used for other purposes? So the chip doesn't actually transmit anything. It's an inductive device. There's no battery. There's no transmitter. So what happens is, the reader creates a magnetic field, which is usually quite small. You can make larger fields, but they're unstable and noisy. And so essentially you make this small magnetic field around a reader. I mean, this reader here, it generates a field that it looks like a bubble around it, right? So there's a magnetic field like this. So when you bring a tag within that field, power will be pulled from the field, and then the tag will power up and then start vibrating that field, modulating the field to be able to communicate. So it's not transmitting in the traditional sense. It's just modifying a magnetic coupling in order to communicate data. So in that way, it's not like you can use it for tracking or something. It's not going to be just transmitting stuff out to the air and somebody can pick it up, and or like any kind of GPS or radio triangulation or something like that. That's not how it works at all. What does the kit contain? The kit contains the injector assembly. That inside that there's a needle, a syringe, plunger. The chip is inside the needle. It contains gauze, a sterile drape, gloves, skin prep, which is ChloraPrep antiseptic, a bandage, and just some instructions on how to find our partner network and work through them. So you can bring that kit to a partner. They have everything they need to be able to do the installation. The instructions to implant the microchip are essentially go to a partner in our partner network. If you can't find a partner, there's a link on our partner map, which is dangerousthings.com/partners. There's a link there. So if you can't find a partner, there's a guide on how to follow making contact with a professional piercer in your area. A lot of people think, I can just email a bunch of piercers around or call them and they'll say yes. And no, that's not the case, because usually the piercer has no idea what our products and they're talking to some crazy person on the phone who wants to put some weird chip in their body, the piercer's not going to risk their entire, professional, studio and career on one crazy person coming in. And so you have to actually, there's some materials to print out, some information. You print that out, you bring it with you in person to the piercer, you present it, you talk about it, you show them all the materials, let them, take a day or two to decide and do their own research, and then, follow up with them, and they're very much more likely to say yes at that point, and follow through. And then, of course, we're here to support any professional piercers who need instruction or would like any additional information. We're always available. How many people from which countries have bought kits, and how many in the last 12 months? About 50% of our sales go to the U.S. and, North America, and then the rest are split up around the world, Australia, mostly English-speaking at this point, but Brazil and some South American countries are picking up, Chile, so there's a lot of interest now there. In the last 12 months, probably sold across different types of products and things, maybe 10,000 or so. I don't really keep a super close eye on it because I'm really busy with R&D work and developing new things, but that's kind of where we're at. So the other question, what are the microchips' most frequent uses? Again, the most frequent use case is access control of some kind. So if it's a key, a card, password, some kind of access control method, it can be replaced or augmented with implant use. So for example, my motorcycle and my car, you can still use the key, the regular key, but I've added the ability sorry, excuse me. So you can still use the keys, but I've added the ability to use my implant. So I'm not replacing the key functionality, I'm just adding an additional method of authentication to those devices. So the most common thing is that. The second most common thing is the NFC functionality. So for example, our XNT and FlexNT products, they are fully NFC compliant. So you can use them with access control and all that, but also you can use NFC, which means NFC enabled phones or other NFC devices can read specially formed NFC and DEF record data from the memory. So people are writing like business cards. I have my business card on this prototype here, this flexible FlexNT. They can write like URLs or data, binary data. Some people are putting Bitcoin wallet addresses on there. Some people are encrypting some special data and putting it on there just for safe storage. So there's a lot of capabilities that extend beyond simple access control applications. But it's because it complies with the standards, NFC Type 2 standard, the applications are anything that NFC can do. So we're not even aware of all the applications. I mean, one guy made a digital animated GIF tattoo and stored it here, so when you scanned it, it would have an animated thing play. And another person had a link to a free game that you could get a copy of if you were able to track her down and scan it. So there's a lot of things that can be done when you comply with standards, and other people have interesting ideas about how to use that standard to do cool things. So that's what I really like about it, is that other people are thinking of way better applications than we are. So are you developing innovative uses for microchips under the skin? I would say probably the really innovative thing that we're working on right now is VivoKey, because that's a full actual cryptographic platform, meaning you can write your own Java binary applet code, you write your own software, deploy it to the chip, it'll run. The onboard crypto engines, the hardware engines, can do elliptic curve, AES, DES. You can do signing and challenge response data. I mean, you could do a lot of stuff. So being a platform, right, that will actually not only store data but actually process data. It's a computer. So that's really, really cool and innovative. So you can deploy all kinds of different applications and use them with different various devices. So yeah, I'm really excited about the future of VivoKey. Okay, what are the reasons to buy a microchip? Well, I think that in reality, some people they'll get a tattoo or they'll get a piercing, and those two things are actually quite risky. The risk of infection is constant while there's the healing process, which for a piercing, you're putting two holes in the body and putting a piece of metal through it and then asking the body to heal around that. That could take days or weeks, and the risk of infection is always there until it finally does heal. Sometimes there's keloid scarring, there's all kinds of complications that happen, and tattoos are similar. You have, kind of a wound there you have to take care of, and it takes time to heal, and there's scabbing process, and there's risk of infection. So those those things that are viewed as quite common and low risk actually do carry some risk, and the implant procedure is extremely lower risk than that, because a needle goes in, you prep everything properly, a needle goes in, deposit the tag, remove the needle, the skin, it scabs over within an hour, and then after that you're good. You can wash your hands, you can take a shower. The wound is extremely small compared to piercing or tattoo, and the healing time and aftercare is dead simple. So at that point the question really becomes, why wouldn't you do this? Why wouldn't you get a microchip and then play around with it, try to explore the applications? And so and of course, if you ever wanted it out, it's a simple visit to any doctor who can just they can just do a little cut and pop it right out. So the risk is extremely low. The increased capabilities as a human being are interesting and fun to play with, and if you ever wanted to have it out, it's a very, very simple procedure, and it leaves you just the same as you were before. So no major damage or anything like that. So really the question is, what's the reason not to? Usually people that look at those, they weigh the pros and cons. The reason in the I don't want to do it category, the reasons not to get an implant have to do with false information, or just ignorance, like, oh, the government's tracking me, or it's it's extremely risky, or could cause problems for my health, and no, all of those things are not really actual concerns. So opportunity cost is one of those things. You might not have an application to use it with when you get one. Like several people come to the office, and we're doing interviews or whatever, and I'm like, hey, why don't we do an install? You can film it, and they're like, no, I don't have any. I can't really use it. I don't have anything to use it with, and I'm always a little bit surprised by that, because you might not have anything to use it with right now, but all the risk factors are extremely low, really, really low. You have higher risk if you just walk out and scratch your arm on something, of getting infection. That's much higher risk. And so when people say they don't they don't want to use it, or they don't want to get it, it's just strange to me, because the opportunity is there. Like, once you get it and it heals up, a day or two at most, and you don't even know it's there. You don't even feel it. You don't even it doesn't impact your body or your life in any way. That's what's great about it, is that you can just get that done, use it with the things that you use it with, a door or whatever, but you never actually feel it. That it doesn't interact with your body. It doesn't really cause any problems. So with something that's a small change, low risk, and doesn't really impact your day to day, you kind of forget that you even have it. Why wouldn't you get that? Even if you don't have anything to use it right now, you might in the future want to play around with it, or get a door lock that you can buy and use it. So it's like somebody offering you $100 for free, and you saying, no, I can't really use that $100, so I'll just pass. It's kind of strange to me, but whatever. So the last question: do you think cyborg is the next step of human evolution? Yeah, I think biohacking in general is the next phase of human evolution, in that we are finally at the point where we're opting out of certain selective processes. We're able to do surgeries and save lives and extend life now. We're looking into that. But fundamentally changing the way evolution works is something new. So, evolution is mutation and selection, and mutation only happens when you have offspring. So the option for mutation is there only when you have offspring. So now we're talking about pushing that change into the single human lifespan. So I might be born with genes and capabilities as a human being, but I can change those in my own lifespan. For me, right? That's new. That's a whole new thing. And so being able to alter my genes, being able to upgrade my capabilities as a human. I mean, when I pick up a smartphone, that's an upgrade, but it's temporary, and it's not really my upgrade. It's my tools that I'm using, and but they're not really part of me. There's a fundamental difference when you have something that's implanted, it's managementless, it disappears, and it just becomes part of who you are as a person. There's a fundamental difference there. And so by being able to upgrade my capabilities, like right now I'm able to talk to several different types of passive RF devices. I can do cryptography in my body. So when I have my smartphone with me, I don't say I can make I can do different things, or I can whatever. It's really my phone that's doing those things. And when I don't have my phone, or it's out of battery or something, I'm back to just being a regular human being. But this is always here, always with me. It always works. There's no batteries, no charging, there's no management. It's just part of me. It's like my kidneys. They work hard. I don't really think about them. They're just part of who I am and help me interact with this world. And so my upgrades help me do the same thing. And that's a new thing for evolution, to be able to do that. And I think it's interesting for the future of humanity. I think it's going to be much more fluid, and we can make our own choices and guide our own personal evolution, which is entirely new. So, okay, that's all the questions.